It is late. It is late. I'm tired. That means it's time for another video. Today's topic is how can you not check the camera so much? And also, once you figure that out, how you can create a hierarchy of values in order to make your decision-making progress incredibly easy. And I actually wanted to talk about the values that I want to set, but the key shift that you have to do before creating your hierarchy of values makes any sense is to, it might also make sense before that, but anyways, the key shift that you need to make is to So the goal that you want to have when making decisions is to align your decisions as good as possible with your values, instead of, and this is what I'm currently doing, valuing your decisions based on the degree to which they will help you achieve your goals. And so essentially that shift is a shift from outwards to inwards, and it is a shift from outcomes to inputs, or from focusing. So it is a shift of shifting your focus from the outward to the inward, and from outputs to inputs. And what's at the core of this idea is the Stoic idea of focusing only on that which you can control, because you have 100% control over your inputs, and you have frighteningly little control over the results that you get based on those inputs. And I actually have two Stoic quotes on this idea of focusing on what you can control that resonated with me, and I will read them to you now. The first quote is from Marcus Aurelius. Concentrate every minute like a Roman, like a man, on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness, tenderly, willingly, with justice, and on freeing yourself from all other distractions. Yes, you can. If you do everything as if it were the last thing you were doing in your life, and stop being aimless, stop letting your emotions override what your mind tells you, stop being hypocritical, self-centered, irritable. You see how few things you have to do to live a satisfying and relevant, I can't say the word, relevant life. If you can manage this, that's all even the gods can ask of you. And especially the last two sentences I like. You see how few things you have to do to live a satisfying and reverent life. If you can manage this, that's all even the gods can ask of you. And then another Stoic quote that also resonated with me. We must concern ourselves absolutely with the things that are under our control, and entrust the things not in our control to the universe. And so I think what I always try to do, this is not the way I proceeded here. I had the idea for a hierarchy of values first, and then I looked for the Stoic goals. But still, I think a good strategy general still, or what you need to do, or what I try to do when I read a quote that resonates with me, I try to break it down and to operationalize it into something that I can either do in my life right now, or that I can, or like a kind of system that I can add to my life. And I think that for this quote, we must concern ourselves absolutely with the things that are under our control and entrust the things not in our control to the universe. I think one system or one tool that can help us achieve this is to, well, create a hierarchy of values. Now, having prepared as well as I always prepare for these videos, I haven't prepared anything regarding my actual hierarchy of values. So this is, give me a second, I will put my laptop away. So this is what I will use the rest of the video time for. So I definitely have two values. And those are I'm just going to be a man of action and follow the self-improvement mindset. And what the self-improvement mindset basically is, it is the mindset of, it's hard to describe, but basically, and I also think it's several things, it's in its most perfect form, the self-improvement mindset is a feeling. But one of the ways that you can operationalize it, just like with the quotes, is that when I follow the self-improvement mindset, everything that is an improvement from my current situation, or every action that leads to an improvement of my current situation, I consider as good enough. And what this means is actually huge for me personally, because it means that I stop thinking constantly about what the best thing to do is, and that I am content with simply doing something that is improving my life and seeing that as good enough. So essentially it is kind of a switch from seeking to do the best to being okay with doing something that is good enough. And there are ways in which settling for good enough and not aiming for the best is bad, but in the sense of the self-improvement mindset, this is a positive thing and not a negative thing, because it leads to me not overthinking and just taking action, number one, and it also leads to me being more calm. So those are definitely two values that I want to incorporate into my hierarchy of values. Fuck, and I also think that my hierarchy of values also incorporates activities, I'm pretty sure. And then those activities would be things like, doing exercises and stuff. And then the question is also which new activities I accept. Because this is so stupid when I say it out loud, but the thing that's fucking up my mind, that has been fucking up my mind for the last 1.5 days, is the question, of whether or not I should, of how I should, when I say it in the framing that I'm talking about right now, it is the question of whether or not I should start working on my social skills. And so what I have to decide with my hierarchy of values is I have to decide, I'm sorry about that, which new activities I accept into this hierarchy. Yeah. And it's pretty clear, because if I follow the self-improvement mindset, I essentially just follow the random order of notes I have in my notebooks and just start new things based on those notes. But I think I can also start new things as long as the other things that are higher up in the hierarchy don't get fucked up by the new things. And so I think that's kind of also another principle of this hierarchy of values, is like the things that come first stay first. And so what I would do in this case is I have my 3.5 hours of exercises that I do every morning. And so I would keep doing them and then ask myself, well, how can I improve my social skills while also keeping my exercise habit alive? That's actually interesting. Okay. And so this is quite important. And so the two questions right now that I want to answer. The more important one is, how do I make sure that I actually, one, start building my hierarchy of values, and two, follow the mindset shift of only focusing because another aspect of the underlying mindset shift is that you start evaluating your life based on, I think I already said this, but it feels like a different aspect to me right now, that I start evaluating my life based on how well I live up to my values, and not based on some outside outcomes. And then number two, the question is, this is a dangerous question because it might lead to me changing everything in my life again, which I should definitely not do. No to future till. But it also begs the questions, what are the proper values by which to evaluate my life, on which now it's like I evaluate my life based on how well I live up to my values, and then the question is, what values do I choose that I want to live up to? So what can I do in order to operationalize this? I can create a to-do list for tomorrow right now, and I can integrate it into that to-do list. Okay, I will do that in a second. And then the second question is there a way for me to improve my social skills while keeping my 3 hours and 30-minute training, or while keeping my morning routine alive? And there are actually a few ways, arguably. Way number one is just start with doing 10 months of basically looks maxing. That's number one. Number two is I can start doing social skills by purchasing some kind of online program and then training that on the weekends. And number 3 is once I have a program for social skills and once I'm training them consistently on the weekends, I can then also probably put in an hour after work in order to train my social skills. And then I can also arguably reduce my work hours in order to just have more free time and in order to build up my social skills. Because right now I'm wasting so much of my free time on useless shit, and also of my working time when we are being honest, that it does not make any sense for me to reduce my working time. But when I actually have the habits that do improve my life, then it makes a lot of sense to reduce my working time in order to be able to do those habits more.